Initiating Characterpedia sequence. The Feral Predator.
The feral predator was a Yautja that conducted a hunt within the Comanche territory during September of 1719 within Lawton, Oklahoma.
Origin and history.
Unlike the more familiar jungle hunter, this individual is said to hail from the hottest desert region of Yautja Prime. Concept artist Michael Vincent explained that the ferals tribe have a diet consisting of predominantly bone. This desert predator would eventually arrive on Earth in the 18th century, where it hunted a range of the planet's deadliest predators, members of the Comanche tribe, and the French trappers within Lawton. Ultimately, the feral would meet his untimely demise when he came into conflict with Naru, the aspiring hunter and Comanche healer, who defeated him with his own weapons.
Physical appearance.
Initially designed to be a Neanderthal predator, this hunter was always intended to have a more primal appearance than regular Yautja. Its visually distinctive appearance is said to stem from its specific environmental pressures and genetic isolation. This subspecies of desert predator is therefore said to have adapted to a drier climate. Its dimorphism includes thinner, longer and waxier dreadlock appendages. Its mottled skin has a darker brown hue and is scalier for better moisture retention and heat dissipation. Due to its evolution within a desert environment, this subspecies adapted to more of a scavenger's diet where it fed on the bones from dead animals. Its osteophagy saw the feral develop thicker oral tissue and larger jaws with molars for a crushing bite. Its longer, more muscular neck may have also augmented its bite force. Despite this, the feral possessed a smaller, more proportionate head than most Yautja. It also had a thicker brow with heat-sensitive organs that worked in conjunction with its biomask. This would give it the appearance of a flatter face, as its mandibles would not protrude way beyond its forehead like most Yautja. One of the feral's most notable physical traits is its heavily muscled body. Despite not being any taller than a regular Yautja, this individual has an immense amount of muscularity, particularly around its calves, arms, stomach, and shoulders. Overall, the feral gives the impression of a horror character as opposed to one originating from the science fiction genre.
Personality traits.
Named the feral predator due to its savagery, this individual seemed to possess inferior intelligence to other, perhaps more evolved species of Yautja. Despite this, it did have a curiosity for the relationship between the local fauna within Lawton. After studying the wildlife, it would engage what it considered worthy prey in battle, often allowing its opponent to strike first before defeating it. The feral would work its way up the food chain before encountering humans as the deadliest of prey. This individual preferred a more head-on close-quarters combat approach, sacrificing stealth for brute savagery. However, despite its several kills, this Yautja would not necessarily flay and hang its victims, but take skulls as trophies only. In spite of its savagery, the feral did on occasions adhere to the rules of the hunt and spared Naru when she was caught in the bear trap. However, its honor code did not seem as stringent as most hunters because it did flee from Tabe before stabbing him in the back when cloaked.
Powers and abilities.
This frightening and brutal killer was incredibly powerful and had a preference for close quarters hand-to-hand combat. This was showcased in its battle with the grizzly, where it struck and wrestled with the bear before pressing it over its head in an impressive display of strength. Finally, this agile hunter was adept within the trees but preferred to engage its quarry on the ground in a more direct approach.
Weapons and equipment.
Despite its competence as a skilled fighter, the feral was also proficient in armed combat. Although it possessed a more primitive arsenal than most Yautja, the feral's weapons were still far superior than the munitions of its human opponents. Its primary weapon seemed to be the spear gun with its advanced tracking system. Due to its lack of body armor, the feral utilized a metallic wrist shield to block projectile attacks. This fan-like shield was also bladed and could be used offensively. The reverence this predator's clan had for bones also influenced their armor and equipment. His wrist gauntlets seemed to have bone inlays, and its biomask in particular looked like the hollowed out head of the river ghost. Embedding trophies within their technology may have been a tradition passed down by the alpha predator, who was the first to wear parts of its prey as armor. The biomass sat beneath this skull and housed laser sight and heat vision. The heat-sensitive nodes under the bone plates send data to his network of heat-sensing organs in the frill, which relay the information in a visual format to the creature's eyes. Additionally, the thinner cask loses less water, which is essential for a hot environment. Spiracles within the cask also allow the feral to breathe more efficiently in less oxygenated atmospheres. Other weapons and equipment the feral possesses include its cloaking device, wrist blades, wrist gauntlet, separable combi stick, net gun, cut clamp, disintegrator gas, medicomp.
Weaknesses.
Despite being a trained hunter, the feral may lack refinement as a warrior, which ultimately saw him defeated by Naru. Its lack of intelligence saw him outsmarted by the Comanche healer, where it was killed by its own weapon. Finally, the Yautja's cloak would lose effectiveness upon impact, allowing the area of shock to become visible.
Enemies.
Some of the feral's most obvious enemies were the Comanche tribe, which included Naru and Tabe. It also seemed to have a real displeasure for the French trappers it engaged in battle.
Significant moments.
Hunting Earth's deadliest predators. The feral initially tested its hunting prowess against some of Earth's deadliest land predators, which included a rattlesnake, a wolf, and a grizzly bear. Battling the Comanche warriors. This Yautja would also slay members of the Comanche tribe, including Tabe, in battle. Fighting the French voyagers. The feral managed to defeat many of the French voyagers that were trying to trap it, killing them in devastating fashion. Defeat to Naru. After consuming the blood-cooling herbs, Naru would bait the feral into killing the lead trapper before shooting the creature in the back of the head with a sneak attack. After stealing its biomask, Naru would use the targeting system against the feral, who ultimately shot himself in the head with his own spear gun.
This file terminates here. End sequence.